say anything we want longer than that. There are stupid people in the world. Children are stupid. You can torture them. Fuck them! Jesus Christ. Who gives a shit? I know how awesome it is to tie a chick up in a fever. Both you women should be pissed.
I don't get furries.
That's your sex suit, man.
God. I would like that.
Dennis is furry curious. How curious are you?
Are we horn sucking here?
Dennis, answer the question.
Yeah, I am.
Fucking equality through morality is bullshit. If you're gonna attack white people, attack them in the right sense. It should be the C word! Because that way everybody will confuse it with cunt, and it'll make me happy. God damn, I sound so racist.
No, you're not racist.
People take themselves way too fucking seriously in this world. Dennis and me here at Egocast, thank you very much for listening. Hello!
Hello.
It's the Egocast, Andy and Dennis. We're back.
Again.
How are you doing?
Fucking feet are freezing right now.
You're freezing.
My feet are freezing.
Oh, I have the heat turned
I'm
on.
not ready to put my shoes on.
What do you want? It's hard. It's fucking literally on the floor, dude. It's cold in here.
About ready to put my shoes and pants back on.
It gets a lot colder in that room because that door leaks. And it sucks. Like my bedroom and this room are fucking nice and toasty. And you go in that one, you can actually feel the change in temperature.
You should get some plastic put up around it.
I was thinking about, then I'm gonna have to take down that bookshelf.
Or just put a blanket out over it.
I have that bookshelf covering up that doorway, so it does. I mean, that cuts it a lot. But there's like no heating vents in there.
Really?
There's this one here, and then there's the one right over
See, yeah.
that doesn't do anything. Nothing comes out of that for whatever reason. So there's
something to the place.
Yeah, I want them to come in here and run ductwork in my fucking game room for another month. No, thank you. But nah, I don't know. It's weird. Weird apartment. It's worth it though. You seem to want to fucking get this over with, I imagine, so you go home and play Destiny.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm not complaining.
Play.
Speaking of which, I guess you want to launch into the fucking complaints of the day.
I don't know if I'm not angry. That's so.
Yeah, like I'm unusually zen about it. Like
to me, you seem more upset than I am, but
no, not really. Like it shuts down, and I go fuck. And now that I know what's going on, now that I know that it's hackers that are shutting it down for no reason other than that they can, it shuts down, and I go, well, I guess I'll be off for an hour or two, and I watch a movie, and then I try and get back on, and I usually can get back on. So I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I'm just playing old games, so
yeah.
I have Grand Theft Auto 4 was sitting right there, so I just threw it in.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like when you live in a society like this, you're gonna have people that are gonna be against whatever, and they're gonna lash out in whatever. But like,
oh, we're talking about the Xbox Live going down.
Yeah. Xbox, the Blizzard Squad shutting down Xbox. Like they seem to be targeting times when they're like doing things. Like last night was the Video Game Awards, so that's why they shut it down last night, because they shut it down right before the Video Game Awards came on, so nobody could watch that. And they want to shut it down for Christmas, which Christmas Day, probably not many people are going to give a shit, because everybody's going to be doing things with family on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah. Even if they shut it down Christmas Eve, like, nobody's going to give a shit then. Day after Christmas, people will probably care, but it's like, they can only seem to keep it down now for, like, an hour. Because today they shut it down at, like, 11:50, and I was back on and playing not even by 1. So pop in a movie, watch a movie. I watched Hackers last night. And yeah, then I jumped right back on Destiny.
Yeah, when it first happened, I went online and people were blaming Anonymous. So I looked them up, and they said, and they shut down Xbox. They don't like the third-party users and stuff.
Third-party users.
Like those people who make money off of online games, and who send you fake advertisements. They go after them. The only thing I saw Anonymous going Xbox after was actually charging for their services.
Yeah, and that is kind of bullshit, especially for things like this, because it's not like I'm off for days, but I am paying for a service. But at the same time, like, I know enough about computers and hacking that it's reactionary. You can only actively prevent so much.
Yeah.
Because they set up firewalls and protections, and then people figure out ways around them, and then they have to figure out a way to beat that, and then they figure out a new way around them. They have to figure out a way. So it's a back and forth. You're always going to have that in this scenario. There's no way to guarantee that you're going to protect against anything, because all you can do is eliminate shit that's known. So,
it just made me feel nostalgic for the old days.
yeah,
and how much I hate the next gen.
Hook up your Nintendo and you could play it no matter what.
Yeah. And when you bought a video, this is probably what angers me a lot. So like thinking nostalgic, I put in a game and I didn't need 15,000 updates to fix it.
Yeah, dude, day one updates fucking.
Because they don't put out a complete game anymore. They just throw the game out now.
Well, games are also getting so complex now that it's probably difficult. I mean, it's probably difficult to foresee problems happening because you can only do so much with your development crew.
Yeah,
you know, you've got 100, 200 sometimes people, and sure, that's whatever. But when you put it out there and 50,000 people are now playing it, they're gonna find all manner of fucking shit that's wonky on it.
Yeah,
that,
I'm talking about like games I go in the first day and then they're already fucking. I can't do anything because they're fucked.
Yeah, like Skyrim. Skyrim was a bad one.
I never had any problems with Skyrim.
Fuck you. You said that one of your characters was fucking corrupted and you couldn't play him.
No, that was New Vegas.
I thought you had problems with Skyrim too.
No, I had weird glitches and stuff, but I never.
I know a lot of people did the glitches and shit like that. Dragons flying backwards.
I still haven't seen that.
I've seen videos
of it, but it never happened to me.
I saw a dragon flying with no motion. That was fun.
I heard
it was just fucking wings out, and he's just going around and not flapping and not moving.
The biggest glitch I've had was it locking up once in a while.
Yeah.
But I save so often that it really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And
most games now have autosave. So.
And Dragon's not dissolving and giving me the soul. That's the biggest glitch I've had in Skyrim.
Who gives a shit about that after a while? So many goddamn dragons to kill.
I can't believe I've been playing it for 3 years and I still haven't beat it.
But like when Black Flag came out, they had all manner of like public events where Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
Black Flag.
I thought you were talking about Henry Rollins.
No.
I'm like, he's got a video game. I want that.
No, Assassin's
Creed.
Badass. Just shoot them. That's all you do. There's no menus, no screens. You just run through and shoot motherfuckers.
Listen to Black Flag.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it'd be great. But no, when Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out, they had all sorts of like weekend events and week-long events, and like there was things that you could do with other people where, you know, somebody would find a white whale or whatever, and then it would come up on your map so you could go and hunt it down. Yeah. And none of that shit worked for like months. And then all of a sudden it all came back up online again, and I was done playing the game. So
No, I understand stuff like that, but it just like those day ones really don't make sense to me.
Yeah, but that kind of shit is bullshit though. Like if you're gonna put a game out that's gonna have special features, they should work on launch day, and they didn't work for months, and it was just horse shit.
Well, that was just like when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. The first day they opened their online stuff, it didn't work.
Yeah. But like I said, you can only probably judge so far.
Yeah, I understand that. Just it's some of the stuff that just like I think should work.
Yeah. Well, you should be able to play the goddamn game when it comes out. I don't know. Yeah.
Like, you'll never play Fallout New Vegas again, but it's a totally different creature now.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit game. Alright, so speaking of hackers, I have an article. You know what's going on with Sony, right? They made that movie, The Interview. It's about Seth Rogen and what's his face?
Draco. Malfoy.
Yeah, no. What?
James Franco.
James Franco, yes. It's good but not mnemonic. Yeah, James Franco, they're fucking they're supposed to be going on a mission to go and kill Kim Jong-un.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And North Korea is saying now that they didn't do it, but somebody hacked Sony and downloaded DVD rips of that movie onto the internet. And they're saying that Sony's going to lose like $50 million in revenue because it's out there now and anybody can just fucking hack, can pirate it. But I guess that Lizard Squad has got some sort of beef against Sony too. Like I guess they phoned in a fake bomb threat for a plane that was carrying Sony's CEO or president or fucking somebody and forced it to land. But Fox News has an article that says Sony's hiding place for passwords, a folder called Password. Apparently, the latest document dump in the Sony hack has exposed thousands of the company's passwords for various accounts, reports BuzzFeed. The reason this came to light so quickly, the passwords were kept in a file directory called Password. Among them are hundreds of usernames and passwords for movies, social accounts on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, but also plenty of clearly labeled passwords for everything from Amazon to Fidelity Financial Services. Because who needs encryption or security or common sense or even the vaguest attempt at grade school level online safety, snipes Gizmodo. Hackers have promised to release boatloads of more sensitive information. It's still not certain who's behind the attack. North Korea today denied responsibility, reports USA Today. Linking the DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, to the Sony hacking is another fabrication targeting the country, a North Korean diplomat told Voice of America. Pyongyang is miffed at Sony for an upcoming Seth Rogen comedy about a plot to assassinate Kim Jong-un. But, yeah.
I have mixed feelings about that movie anyways.
Why?
Okay, I love Seth Rogen movies.
Yeah.
I love Malfoy movies with him.
Yeah.
But this one just seems like it's in bad taste and the wrong time. I have no interest in seeing it.
Yeah, it
You usually make fun of like a dictatorship like years after he's dead or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's
too current for them to be making fun of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We need to make fun of more Nazis.
Well, there are no Nazis anymore.
That's why you can make fun of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, yeah, it is kind of in poor taste.
Yeah. I want Pineapple Express too, so.
Well, maybe that's what this is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But Sony's getting fucked with a lot, and Microsoft's getting fucked with a lot. I don't know.
I hate these groups, so let's screw it with everyone's good time.
Yeah,
That's what I don't get.
You know, I work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And when I come home from work, I want to sit down and relax and unwind, murdering people that I work with virtually on my TV. And you know, to take that from people for no reason other than I can, so I'm doing it, that's pretty fucked up. But sooner or later, they're gonna get caught. You know? I just hope that it's not.
A lot of these groups never get caught.
Nah, not always. Sometimes they get found out.
Or certain parts of their group get caught and they just break off from them.
Yeah. But I hope that it's not the government or the police or whoever that finds them. I hope it's somebody that's fucking really angry about this and just beats every living shit out of them. That would be entertaining for me. But I don't know. Like I'm oddly zen about it. Like I said, like normally that this sort of thing I would expect it to really upset me, but I don't care. Cause there's always something else that I can be doing. But like I'm watching their Twitter feed to just see whenever he decides to fucking shut shit down again. Cause he posts on Twitter, so Xbox goes off, I look online, I go, up there he is again, and then I fucking move on with my life for a couple hours. But sooner or later they'll figure out a way to stop it, and they'll stop it, and then he'll figure out a different way to do it, and then they'll stop it. And, hopefully at some point he gets bored or gets caught, or I don't know.
Didn't they also shut down YouTube?
I don't know.
I thought I read somewhere they shut down YouTube and Twitter at the same time.
I don't know. But when you decide to live your life attached to these devices, it's easy for people to fuck with you then.
Yeah, well.
And there's nothing I can do about it. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
I can't counterhack them. I wouldn't even care if I could. I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I would figure out a way to keep my shit working. Like if I had the technological know-how to do anything against them, I would just keep them from fucking with my shit.
Well, it's like people got their phones attached to them, and then there's people in my life and like, I called your phone and I didn't hear from you. Like, I put my phone in my room and it's not attached to my hip. I hate my phone.
Yeah.
Sent you a text, you didn't answer in 2 minutes. Like, because it was in my room and I was upstairs eating.
Yeah. Moving on. You got something?
Little something, something.
Little something, something? Give it to me.
Yes, I do. Let's start with
cock.
Kind of close.
No,
not at all.
Oh.
Sorry, slow computer. Teacher who made boy unclog toilet with hands gets warning.
What does that have to do with cock?
Nothing.
I thought you were gonna have one about cock.
No. I don't think. Oh, I could go to that one.
Pussy.
Do you want me to go to that one?
Okay.
Woman, jail threats won't stop loud sex. There's cock one for you.
Jail threats.
British woman was given a suspended jail sentence for violating a court order to stop having loud sex with her husband. Says she will not comply. Carol Cartwright was given a suspended jail terms of 8 weeks and another 12 weeks for violating a 4-year antisocial behavior order. Never heard of this before, have you?
I was gonna say, I don't think that's very antisocial. Fucking's pretty social.
This woman says she will not comply with the court's demands and that she spare her neighbors from the banging and the screaming. results from her. I can't even read this. I just want to hear this woman. I want to hear her having sex to see how bad it is.
I know, right? I mean,
I just love like her husband of 38 years. So they're an older couple.
Oh God.
So let's just say they got married around like 20.
Dude, even if they got married when they were 18, that still makes them 50.
Yeah.
56.
And this guy's gonna be walking around town with a huge cock, and
Probably.
he's fucking walking around tall and proud.
Packing heat. I don't know. Wow. I don't know what to say about that.
He's giving it to her good still after 38 years. It's
Fucking rail that bitch.
I just antisocial behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of that one before.
Well, this is in England. No, this is in Washington, England. That's a British woman.
Washington, England. Never heard of that one either.
There's a video that comes with it, but I really doubt it's her.
That would be hysterical, though.
I'm gonna have to watch the video after the show's over. You want me to go on?
Sure.
Another story?
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of quiet over there.
No, I'm looking at titties.
Canine police returns to duty after inhaling meth. Kind of speaks.
Well.
Oh, the dog's name is Kodo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. The little ferret. Remember Kodo and Podo?
Yeah.
Beastmaster?
El Cicerito in California. California Police Department said a canine dog unit was returned to active duty after being treated for accidentally inhaling meth during a search. Yeah, it was accidental.
I thought this was like I thought this was gonna be a you can do whatever you want to do on your off time type of story.
Should be.
I mean, dog wants to fucking do a little meth after work. Everybody's got to wind down somehow.
Yeah. The 4-year-old German Shepherd Coda was called to the scene of a traffic stop. November 26th to search a car for drugs. The cocaine. The canine located a small amount of a suspected cocaine. Ended up inhaling some of the substance.
Fucking wolf!
Coda was taken to the emergency veterinary clinic where he tested positive for a stimulant.
Oh, why did he, man? Just let him fucking tweak. He's fucking tweaking.
Depending on the dosage and how the body responds to it, it could be fatal.
Oh.
Coda was kept overnight and made a full recovery.
Well, that's good. Not surprising. It's just a little meth.
I just don't get it. If a police officer accidentally inhaled something.
Yeah, he'd be fucking fired.
This dog was off one night and then he returned to duty. Like officers get suspended for 30 days.
Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't seem fair.
No.
Lucky dog. Gets to tweak for a night. Takes well, not lucky because he had to go right back to work.
I wonder if the dog was just like fucking everything. Just humping everything and anything. Yeah. All right. Parents Television Council says that scandal sex scene after Charlie Brown was not okay. There really isn't much to this article, but it's just funny to me that apparently Fox showed Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. And then right after that, they showed the TV show. They showed Scandal. And apparently the first scene in that show was a steamy sex scene. So it said in less than 26 seconds, we were taken from the Peanuts pumpkin patch to a steamy scandal sex scene. Unless parents had the remote control in their hand, thumb on the button, and aim directly at the TV screen, they didn't have a chance.
Oh God, no!
I mean,
Do kids even watch Shirley Brown anymore?
well, imagine. But is it when you're running a TV station? I guess you should probably take that kind of shit into consideration and pay attention a little bit
You would think.
to what's going on. But like,
I have several questions. But go ahead.
I don't know what you can really do about that. Like, do you have to watch? So then somebody should be watching everything that's going to go on the show to make sure that it's all lined up properly. I guess you could say that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But some shit's going to slip through. It's like
And people are gonna complain.
yeah, it's like during the Olympics when the one black gymnast won the gold medal, and then they did like a little interview thing, and then the first commercial was a monkey doing gymnastics.
I missed that.
Like that kind of shit. That's all set up way ahead of time. They decide weeks ahead of time where things are gonna go. I imagine. But I guess probably putting a very, very, very adult show right after a very, very children's,
Well, it depends what time of night it was too, right?
I don't know. You can also say that the parents should have paid attention to what TV show is going to be on right after it.
Yeah, it's like most TVs have it all like up there.
Yeah, and also probably every fucking commercial break for Charlie Brown said, coming up next, Scandal.
This upsets me.
So
I don't have a wah 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 wah.
wah, 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 wah. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. But hey,
That won't work.
what are you gonna do?
I mean, I love Charlie Brown, but I didn't think anyone was watching it anymore.
Well, it's okay to love Charlie Brown. It's just not good to love Charlie Brown.
Well, I identify with him.
Yeah,
The bald-headed loser.
yeah, you should. I mean, would. What you got?
Are you done with your story?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Husband accused of assaulting wife with a McChicken. I mostly got this for the headline. It made me laugh. I giggled. It's just
How
another.
did he assault her with the chicken?
You actually want me to read it?
Ah, well, I want you to fucking talk about it. Goddamn.
It's just another domestic
Violence. Call
guy beating his wife up
with a big chicken.
I mean, I don't condone beating your wife up.
Well, what? Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it with something funny,
Yeah.
If you beat the bitch with a clown hammer, I guess that's that's all right.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines. Desmond.
I don't believe in the English language. It's done wrong.
I don't believe in it. I just believe.
Police in Iowa said a man accused of assault told officers he chucked his
McChicken?
his McDonald's McChicken sandwich at his pregnant wife. Because
She was pregnant?
Yeah. Because he doesn't like him.
Because he doesn't like McChicken?
Yeah.
How can you not like McChicken? clearly he wasn't a black guy.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm saying I'm pretty well guessing that.
Police officers responded to the couple's home about 2:55 p.m. Tuesday, and Marvin Tremaine Hill II
Shit, that could be a black guy.
told him his 21-year-old wife had woke him up about 1 p.m.
She woke him up at 1 o'clock
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
Yeah. And handed him the McChicken
Dude, this
sandwich.
might be a black guy sleeping at 1 o'clock. Marvin Tremaine Hill the second.
Hill told officers that the sandwich made him angry. I hate you. Fucking hate you.
Fucking sandwich.
Because he doesn't like him, the police admitted, and he admitted to the police throwing the sandwich at his wife. Before picking up pieces of the bun from the floor and throwing them at the woman a second time. Hill's wife told officers he had smashed the bun in her face forcefully. She had mayonnaise on her shirt and face when officers arrived.
Sometimes you gotta mush the chick.
They said her nose also appeared swollen.
Oh, wow, that's pretty hard. Maybe she caught one of the little bone hard bits in the fucking chicken on her nose.
The suspect showed officers a cell phone video he recorded while his wife was cleaning herself up in the restroom. The video showed Hill's wife knocking the phone from his hands. Hill accused his wife of assault.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's assault.
But the police, they determined Hill was intentionally trying to get his wife to swap the phone from his hands to make her appear aggressive.
So he's a button pusher.
Yeah. Hill was arrested on a charge of some simple domestic assault.
This guy's a dick. It's funny.
I know we're laughing, but I don't condone beating your wife with a McChicken.
I know we're laughing.
That's it.
A buddy of mine that I work with, he told me a story the other day. He said that he was listening the night before to his neighbor upstairs beating the shit out of his girlfriend. And I was like, "Did you guys call the cops?" And he said, "Yeah, we had to call the cops." And I was like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Well, I heard him say, 'Get the fuck away from me.' And then a couple of seconds later, there was a loud thunk on the floor." And I was like, she's a button pusher. Because I'm sorry. As human beings, when you are upsetting another human being, and they say to you something along the lines of, "Get the fuck away from me," that's considered a warning. Violence will ensue soon after if you do not follow my directive. It's like when the cops say, "Put your hands up and get on your knees."
Yeah.
If you don't, you drop the weapon. If you refuse to drop the weapon after that, you might get shot. If I say, "Get the fuck away from me," it's entirely possible I might fucking smack you in the face after that. So, this dude clearly, in this case, is the button pusher.
Reminds me of my old apartment, though.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in this basement apartment. I loved the apartment. Even with the problems, I loved the apartment. Boy, did they have a lot of problems, but it was awesome. I had a small basement apartment that was 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, that was a big place. Oh,
I know, it was tiny, but it
Yeah.
had 3 bedrooms, a bath, a kitchen.
The living room was pretty good
Yeah.
in size. It fit how many of us that one night? The hot dog, drinking with hot dogs
12
party.
people.
Yeah, so.
Well, 2 bedrooms. It was a pretty tiny rooms with a lot of rooms.
Yeah. A lot of very small rooms.
But huge closets.
Never saw the closet.
One closet in the one bedroom was a walk-in.
Yeah.
The other one was just a big closet.
Was it bigger than the closet you lived in for years?
Yeah, actually.
Should have stayed in the closet there.
But I had this routine in this basement.
You didn't have the routine.
No, I didn't have the routine. Well,
your neighbors had
that's
the
how
routine.
I kept time.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I had to prove to Andy one night about this.
Yeah, I didn't believe you. I did not believe you at all until I came over and stayed the whole night one night.
It was let me see, 10 o'clock vacuuming.
10 o'clock vacuuming?
Every night the vacuum went off at 10 p.m.
Went on, you mean?
Yeah. Then there was the 12 o'clock, the midnight beatings.
Midnight beating.
She had a kid, a woman lived above me, and she had a kid who did not want to go to bed. And she beat him every night.
Now, you don't know if she was actually beating him.
Yeah.
The kid did scream and cry.
Oh, you hear, time for bed, and then he starts yelling and running around, and you heard him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Then you hear, wah, crying. Yeah. And then there was the 2 a.m. sex when their boyfriend showed up.
Yep, every night. And then wasn't there a 4 a.m. something?
No, I was usually asleep by then.
No. Yeah, I didn't believe you until then, and
Every fucking night, like clockwork.
I stayed over, and we were sitting there smoking.
I talked you into staying over.
Yeah, we were sitting there smoking and talking, and sure as shit, 10 o'clock, and I'm like, and you just laugh, and then that went on for a good 10, 20
like,
minutes.
No.
No. Then 12 o'clock, time for bed! Ugh. And then 2 o'clock, fucking. Maybe that's the lady that is getting arrested.
She was a hot little Spaniard.
Oh, really?
She was hot.
Wow.
Boyfriend was scary though. Met him once.
Yeah.
He was bigger than I was.
Really? Maybe that's
he was
why it was
probably
so
about
loud.
6'5", big black guy.
Jesus. Huh.
But the good thing was the person who lived in the attic, she was a paramedic, so anything could happen. She could have fixed people up. She was hot too.
Right?
Yeah.
Dennis lived in fucking Three's Company style.
And the fireman owned the building. It was weird.
That is weird. Heartwarming story.
No, we're not going to do the teacher?
Well, we'll do that next.
Okay.
Man commits suicide by decapitating himself in West Dallas.
Aww.
He drove up in a minivan. He tied a rope to a fire hydrant and the other end around his neck, and he drove off until he couldn't drive anymore. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's just your heartwarming tale for the day.
Oh, yeah. That deserves a number 3.
Number 3. I don't know, man. What a fucking way to go. Like, I
want to know.
If you had to kill yourself, would you choose that as a mode of transportation?
No. No.
I mean, God, there's so many ways to kill yourself. There should be a pop.
Oh, I forgot my seatbelt.
Yeah, now, there's a good question.
Did he have a seatbelt?
Did he have his seatbelt on?
Did he get a ticket?
It's reckless endangerment, failure to control, and no seatbelt. I wonder how fast you'd have to go to fucking rip your head off, though.
I'm sure there's an equation for it. We'll send an email over to Mythbusters.
How many pounds of force would it take to pop a head off?
30
Probably
pounds.
not much.
I don't know. We need a math expert. Someone.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if you have to use pi to
That'd be
Figure it
velocity
out.
times mass times or divided by
Resistance
resistance.
of the neck.
Yeah, I guess. I failed math, so I just made that up. I'm
Dude, how fucked up would it be if the rope broke, but it tightened up just enough that he couldn't get it off, so he died slowly, suffering. Ugh. See, that shit you gotta think of, man.
Huh?
That's why you get piano wire. Insure it. Make sure it happens. But that you'd have to get a really long rope though.
What's still going?
You have to get a pretty long rope to get up to speed to fucking pop your head off.
Where do you tie the rope to?
Fire hydrant.
Oh, that's right.
I'm glad you're paying attention.
So then you got a ticket for destruction of property. Too.
Yeah, too, probably. No, I doubt it did anything to the fire hydrant.
I don't know.
Then you have an out of control headless driver.
Was there a note?
Did he run over Ichabod Crane? I guess he wrote something in Spanish on the side of his van, but nobody knows what the fuck it is, or at least it wasn't.
No one knows
reported.
Spanish?
It wasn't reported in the article that I read. I don't get it. Oh,
Ichabod Crane.
gotcha.
Sorry, no mouse running.
A little delayed.
The keyboard mouse sucks.
So what you got next?
I just got the teacher story.
All right.
And then the top 13 if you want to do that.
All right. Let's hear the teacher.
I haven't watched any movies this week because
You haven't played Destiny.
I've been playing too many video games.
That's why if it sounds like we're rushing through this show and we're not really focused and not really into it too much, it's because we want to play Destiny. This is a 2-hour long distraction that, I'll be honest, I could do without this week.
I knew I should have called in dead this week. Teacher who made boy unclogged toilet with hands gets a warning.
Consider yourself warned.
The teacher was named Brent Taylor, made a kid unclog a toilet. And I've been through the article like 3 times. I don't know what the kid did. It does not state what the kid did.
He was probably being a dick. He probably clogged the toilet.
They don't even say it says it's an elementary school, but later in the article it says he was touching high school students. So I'm not sure what school this guy's teaching in.
Maybe it's one of those little red schoolhouse schools.
Yeah, but the kid had to transfer because he was so embarrassed because the kids were making fun of him, calling him shitty hands.
Shit hands. Hey, shit hands.
But this teacher, Brent Taylor, what's his name, Brent? Whatever. He's also got other incidents where he's touched a girl. He grabbed her by the arm forcefully.
Ooh.
And he also tickled some girl in the back of her neck. And this guy's just getting reprimanded.
Did he tickle her with his dick?
I don't know. But there's another teacher, Jennifer Forshee, a teacher at Broward Community Charter School in Weston, Florida, was arrested on Friday on charges of battery on a child after she admitted to forcing a boy to use his bare hands to unclog a urinal. So, what's the difference?
How is that battery?
She forced him. I guess she...
Clean it, motherfucker!
Clean it, you little shit! Shove his face in it. Lick that urinal cake.
It's cake. You love cake.
I just don't understand. How do we keep hiring these teachers that are so fucking stupid?
Dude, I think it.
Do they just snap?
I think it's a product of the reason why there's so many school shootings and shit like that. Kids these days aren't taught to deal with failure. Nobody's a loser. Everybody gets a trophy. And now we're seeing adults that were raised in that environment that are now unable to deal with disappointment and unable to deal with frustration. So instead of doing it like a normal person and saying, go to the fucking principal, you're going to be punished, they decide to take matters in their own hand and say, reach into the shit water. I think you're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff in all manner of different.
We were saying during prep, I saw this other news article where a teacher and this teacher's aide were picking on what is she? She was slow. She was mentally retarded, whatever you call it nowadays.
Retarded.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Well, the kid was smart enough to, though, for being mentally retarded, took a tape recorder to school because the principals and stuff didn't believe her, and these things the teachers were saying to this kid was just horrible. They were calling her stupid and like slow and like how you're gonna get better in life.
Sounds pretty realistic to me.
Kids
retarded. Call them out. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, but they were just beating her down though.
Yeah, that's not cool. Bullies.
And she didn't she got suspended, the teacher.
Yeah. Well, they have unions, man. And unions kind of look out for that shit.
I just don't get it.
It's tough to fire people nowadays. It's really tough to fire people nowadays. In most places, you just can't fucking do it. It's alright. Moving on to the next. I have two more articles that I would like to read, probably in their entirety. CNN opinion page. Should we always believe the victim? Pundit Glenn Reynolds recently wrote, so as I understand it, Atticus Finch is now the bad guy in To Kill a Mockingbird because he doubted a story about rape. How right he was. A story with a rape allegation carries an immediate electric charge. In Jim Crow's South, lynchings often came with a story of the victim having raped a white girl. With the energy of such a story, it wasn't too hard to whip up a fury strong enough to leave a man hanging from a tree. The rape propaganda was necessary to garner the emotions necessary to press the real dark agenda. Al Sharpton took a page out of the Old South's playbook and brought us Tawana Brawley, who accused 6 white men of raping her. The story of white-on-black crime resonated, and it helped to promote a social justice agenda. But Tawana Brawley was no more a rape victim than 2 white women in Scottsboro, Alabama, who falsely accused 9 black teenagers of more than 80 years ago. What do these stories have in common? Someone had an agenda, and they knew that a rape story would put it on a rocket-powered toboggan. And therein lies the origin of today's rape culture frenzy. This is not to say that there are not unreported and unprosecuted sexual assaults. I have dear friends who suffered such injustice, and I believe that their stories with every drop of blood in my body. I'll bet that nearly everyone knows someone who has a verifiably true story. But is that really rape culture? What does that silly phrase mean? It means the same thing as Jim Crow stories of rape meant. It means the same thing that Tawana Brawley meant. It means that someone has an agenda and they want to harness the emotional power of rape to promote it. Which brings us to the University of Virginia. When Sabrina Ederle's Rolling Stone story about a gang rape in a UVA frat house hit the presses, it went viral. Why? It was like a horror movie. I'll admit that when I read it, my own prejudices rose up, and I believed Jackie, the victim in the story. I thought of my friends who had been harmed and couldn't even begin to doubt that Jackie was telling the truth. Why wouldn't I believe her? The antagonists were a bunch of overprivileged white fraternity jerks from UVA, it seemed. The victim was yet another young woman who had had justice withheld. The story confirmed what I wanted to believe, that the elite run roughshod over the rest of us. It proved so much, and I knew which side was right. And it confirmed the bias of left-wing academics who have collectively decided that the war on boys must have more victims because everything with a penis is a rapist. As the story burned, cries of rape culture started to sound less like fairy tales and more like factual reports. All of a sudden, embattled sexual harassment policies on college campuses started to look good, perhaps unquestionable. These policies that have been attacked by those who still believe in that quaint notion known as due process, and the tide started to turn. The Boston Globe recently ran the story of Patrick Witt, who found himself falsely accused and immediately judged guilty by mere suspicion. But then we had Jackie. Rape culture was real after all. And then someone dared to question the story. Even I was aghast. How could he? This account was not published in some rag. This was Rolling Stone, a publication of editorial ethics. Some schools of feminists though, considered questioning a victim to be utterly taboo. If she said it, then it must be true. Such is the mentality of those who would lynch Atticus Finch, or at least call for his disbarment if he were practicing in a modern-day America. Jackie may not be Malaya Ewell, Mockingbird's faux victim, but I wasn't there in that UVA frat house, but Jackie supposedly was. Nevertheless, the journalist who brought us this story has now been revealed to have been at least lazy and willfully blind to the holes in Jackie's story. She claims that she never asked the men in the story for their account of events because of an agreement with Jackie, and therein lies so many problems. This is the kind of believe the victim mentality that is so darkly infecting academia. Presumed guilty is the new standard. Patrick Witt is the new Tom Robinson, the black man accused of the rape and To Kill a Mockingbird. Due process loses, ethics are out the window because there's an agenda, and it needs the fuel of a rape story. And who loses? The casualty list is still being compiled. Terrible journalism or not, maybe Jackie was telling the truth. Maybe she was lying. If she was lying, the UVA Greek system already paid a terrible price. If she was telling the truth, she won't ever be believed now. Why? Because Sabrina Erdely, or Erdely, or whatever, Erdely, E-R-D-L-E-L-Y, Erdely, was so utterly void of journalistic ethics that she committed journalistic malpractice. Because now nobody will believe Jackie. And after Erdely's lazy journalism, the next girl who reports a rape might find it to be that much more difficult to get justice. I don't know what Erdely's agenda was, but it wasn't responsible journalism. Responsible journalism is hard. It isn't public relations. A responsible journalist digs for the truth. She doesn't just take her subject's agenda and run with it. That isn't journalism, that's gossip. And like all gossip, it doesn't do anything positive for anyone. Now, I'm a lazy journalist. I don't have any idea what's going on with this UVA story. But from what I can tell from that story, the girl said the guys raped her. And this journalist wrote a story in Rolling Stone about it and didn't do any due diligence whatsoever on it. So now it's coming into question as to whether or not it's true. Because obviously I imagine the guys are saying that it's not. But there is a problem with this sort of thing. A lot of guys are falsely accused of rape. And there's nothing that happens when that happens.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to, discuss this. Should there be a punishment for falsely accusing somebody of rape? There's punishments for falsely accusing people of everything else, pretty much. But the police say that they don't because that would discourage other women from coming forward about such things. But I, as a realist, and I am, I don't buy that. I don't think that that's a good explanation. I don't think that's a good reason. If somebody's raped and they come forward and say I was raped and they have evidence and they have proof and they have everything they need to prove it, then they should do that.
Right.
But if you're falsely accusing somebody of rape and they get sentenced and tried and essentially their life is ruined at that point because exactly like it says in that article,
even if you're found innocent, you're labeled a rapist.
Exactly. The rest of your life, you're a rapist. So, is it right for somebody to ruin somebody's life just because they can? And I don't think so. And I think that there should be, at the very least, a perjury charge.
Something.
something. If you're proven to have lied. And there are girls that have said that they were raped, did the whole trial, guy got arrested, sentenced, put in jail, and then they came out later and said, no, I was lying. And nothing happened.
I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because I got drunk and...
Yeah, exactly. I got drunk and I didn't really want to have sex with the guy, but I did because I was drunk. And I'm not going to hold to my fucking accountability to it, so I'm just going to cry rape and have him punished so that I can feel better about myself.
So I don't look like a slut.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's utterly bullshit. What do you think?
I agree completely.
Yeah. Well, all right then.
We can go to the extreme though, like the person who calls rape who's not a rape, we actually get her raped.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
That's a punishment.
Quite a punishment. Is that going to be the executioner's job? Are you going to have the executioner and then you're going to have the professional rapist? Jesus.
I'm going to hell.
Oh, me too. Then. But yeah, I, you know, what are you going to do?
Can't be funny. George Carlin said so.
Yep. Imagine, what was it? Imagine Daffy Duck raping Porky Pig.
I can't say God rest his soul. He was an atheist.
Maybe he didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Nope, you're in heaven now, George. Well, but I didn't want to be here. Too bad.
You're fucked.
Deal with an eternity of bliss, motherfucker.
I mean, it's hard to do an article like that when we both agree on it.
Yeah, I know it is. I mean, but nevertheless, I'm sure nobody listens to any more than like 5 minutes of this goddamn thing. But maybe somebody will post something. Who knows? Get a debate going. Maybe we'll get our second unlike.
Wish we get more hate mail.
Get a thumbs down.
We get something to talk about. People hated us.
Yeah, I know. There's that, and then I have one more article. Charles Barkley, wrong on race, Ferguson and Garner. This is another CNN.
Wait, is this the one where
opinion?
Where he makes his opinion about the black community?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because I've heard this before, except not from him. Other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is nothing wrong with professional athletes expressing their opinions about social or political issues. Just because you slip on a helmet or swing a racket doesn't mean you don't have the right to voice an opinion on politics, the economy, faith, or any other issue in America. However, Charles Barkley's recent comments about the Ferguson grand jury decision and the subsequent arrest across the nation aren't just off-the-cuff comments from an athlete waxing political during an interview. For the last several years, Barkley has fashioned himself as some type of hard truth-telling cultural critic, especially on issues of race in America. What his Ferguson commentary makes obvious is that he's just an uninformed rich guy who has given away more credibility than he deserves when discussing racial and political issues in America. In an interview on a Philadelphia sports radio station, the conversation meandered from sports to politics as Barkley began to express his frustration with looters and violence in the wake of the Ferguson grand jury decision to not indict Officer Darren Wilson for the death of Michael Brown. Barkley's comments that those people damaging businesses and attacking police are scumbags is pretty boilerplate stuff that most Americans, including peaceful protesters, would agree with, even if different words were used. It was when Barkley began his riffs on race that things went out of bounds. The true story came out from the grand jury testimony, Barkley said, citing that 3 or 4 witnesses who were black said exactly what the cops said. In reference to Eric Garner's death at the hands of New York police, he went even further. When the cops are trying to arrest you, if you fight back, things go wrong. I don't think they were trying to kill Mr. Garner. He was a big man, and they tried to get him down. And then he followed up with generalized comments that there are a lot of black criminals out there, and that essentially black people are the cause of most of their problems with white police. In an interview with CNN, Barkley said, "We as black people, we have a lot of crooks. We can't just wait until something like the Brown shooting happens. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror. There's a reason that they racially profile us the way they do. Sometimes it is wrong, sometimes it is right, Barkley said. The problem with these statements isn't just that they are misleading. 16 out of 29 witness statements said that Mike Brown had his hands up to surrender, in direct conflict with Darren Wilson's story. And police used a banned chokehold on Eric Garner, a measure that was known to cause death. But that Charles Barkley is uniquely and astoundingly unqualified to discuss the issues of race, law, and police violence. But that Charles Barkley, a black man, is uniquely and astoundingly unqualified to discuss issues of race, law, and police violence. Yeah. If property damage makes you a scumbag, then how would we describe someone who, in the 1990s, got into bar fights throwing a man face first through a store window? Barkley, who said he was provoked, was fined and sentenced to community service in that incident. If black folks need to take more responsibility, how would you describe a black man who drives drunk, runs a red light, and explains to police that he was rushing home to have sex with the woman in the passenger seat? If those actions make you a scumbag or show lack of responsibility, then Barkley should let it be known he's talking about himself. Because he has been charged with crimes over the course of his career, but somehow he never ended up shot or dead and has spent 3 days in jail. Charles Barkley's personal failings don't disqualify him from social commentary, but his hypocrisy does. Charles Barkley is a very, very rich man whose fame and celebrity have protected him from the kind of hostility and harassment from the police that thousands of other Americans, especially African Americans, experience every day. It's easy for Charles Barkley to lecture protesters and looters and mourning families about how to deal with anger, but most Americans can't defuse a tense political situation with the aid of a celebrity. Nevertheless, Barkley's hypocrisy about his own privilege and lack of real knowledge about Ferguson wouldn't be so bad if media outlets don't keep giving him major opportunities to express his views. This preposterous phenomenon is captured perfectly by his NBA on TNT co-host Kenny the Jet Smith in an open letter to Barkley released on Wednesday. However, what I constantly find interesting is how writers and media members view your insights in politics and now race relations with the same reverence as your insights in sports. It's not that you shouldn't ever have an opinion, but you are often quoted alongside the likes of Al Sharpton and even President Obama. I would hope that Sharpton or President Obama would never be referenced with you when picking the next NBA champs. Wasn't Obama, doesn't he do the fucking NAACP fucking top 50 or whatever tier?
Top 50, yeah.
The body of work
March
that our
Madness.
The body of work that our black civil rights leaders put in by planning, executing, and activating does not justify you being in the conversation. In other words, Charles Barkley gets a huge forum to talk about cases like Ferguson and the killing of Trayvon Martin because he's black and famous, not because he's informed or credible or even representative in any segment of the population. He's not a representative of any segment of the population.
I'm kind of disagreeing with this article.
And while that might make for entertaining television, it certainly doesn't amount to social criticism anyone should take seriously. Whether it was Serena Williams on rapes or Reggie White on Asians or Luke Scott on Obama, athletes say offensive or dumb things about politics and culture all the time, but analysts and journalists always give them a soft landing. This is usually done by pointing out that said athlete is a Hall of Famer or was great in some playoff series or donates to charity. Charles Barkley doesn't deserve that soft landing anymore. If networks are going to lob him easy questions about larger social issues, he should have to defend what he says just like any other guest. But if his comments over the last few years are any indicator, he probably can't. In other words, if Sir Charles wants to post up on the world of politics about Ferguson, then he needs to get more informed, more prepared, and more connected to what he was talking about. There's no room for him in the court of public opinion when lives, property, and the health of our democracy are at stake.
Post up.
I know. Exactly. So Charles Barkley said a very realist comment about what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, the grand jury decided not to indict the guy. So there you go. Justice served. Just because it's not the justice you like doesn't mean that it's not justice. And I'm sorry, if you're getting arrested and you fight against the police, they're not going to just go, oh, well, okay. Clearly you feel strongly that you're right, so we're just going to let you go. It doesn't work like that. And to say that Charles Barkley shouldn't be allowed to be taken seriously, or shouldn't be taken seriously when he makes comments about race.
Yeah.
He's a black guy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
article made
ridiculous. And to state all of the things that he did almost a quarter of a century ago, and then use that
not the same man.
Exactly, to use that as a way to say, well, he's a hypocrite because he committed crimes in the past.
He's grown up.
Yeah, he's a fucking adult now. He was a child. He was a fucking... How old was he back then? 20s?
Something like
and
that.
A multi-millionaire. Of course he was getting into trouble because he was stupid back then. But to say that he can't make a comment about issues of people being arrested, that's like going to a cat and talking to it about dogs. They don't fucking know because they have no frame of reference. He has more knowledge than most people because he's been arrested before.
Did you hear, the last time, did you hear what he said? I'm not sure how, before this, comments he made before, and then they had a big problem with.
No.
I'm paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing.
I don't have it. He basically said, white people aren't the problem with the blacks anymore. It's other blacks putting down the successful blacks.
Yeah.
The poor ones.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that goes on in the black community. Because you're acting too white.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to read that because it made me laugh out loud. Like, the further I got into that article, the more ridiculous it got. I don't know. I don't know how you can say that Charles Barkley, of all people, can't make comments on what it's like to be black or what it's like to be arrested.
You could say that he's a little out of touch but I don't.
Well, he is essentially a rich white guy. But at the same time, he's not.
Yeah.
He's a rich black guy. And he's had run-ins with the law. And clearly, since he's still alive, he didn't resist.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm tired of this whole bullshit about just because he's black, that somehow means that, fighting against the cops is allowed. It's not. You're not allowed to do that shit.
Yeah.
And yes, there are bad cops out there. And there are cops that do bad things. There are exceptions to every rule. But for the 10% of cops out there that are bad, there's 90% of them that go to work every day and risk their lives for less money than I make, packaging shit in a warehouse and shipping it. And they do it because they have a desire to protect the public. And if you have a desire to be against the society that you live in, no matter what it is, once you decide, I'm not going in, you're not taking me alive, well,
you might die.
You might get killed. And to bitch about these cops using this chokehold.
Oh, I know how to apply that chokehold. It's evil.
Well, it's also tough to not.
Yeah.
When you're trying to restrain somebody who's attacking somebody else and you're behind them, it's tough to get any kind of hold on that person that's not going to put you in danger. Nobody, as far as I know, and we always like to speak out of an element of ignorance on this show. I don't know the situation. I wasn't there. But I've been in situations in the past when you were working at the bar and there were all those off-duty cops that were starting trouble because they were drunk and being dumb fucks. And the one guy was choking out the manager of the fucking bar, he was trying to get his fucking hands around his throat, and I was behind him, and I was trying to get him off of him. I went to fucking wrap my arm around his neck, but he was moving, and I didn't want to choke him. I didn't want to kill him. So I was trying to get his chin in the crook of my elbow, but that's fucking tough when there's a whole lot of shit going on at the same time. I finally did get him, and I got him off of him, but it took a lot longer than it should have if I would have just grabbed him by the fucking back of the head and didn't give a shit about his health from that point on. You know what I mean? So you get put into difficult situations like that, and you have to do something. But the best thing you can do is don't fucking resist. You know? Give them your license and registration. Get on your fucking knees and put your hands on your head. If you're wrongly being arrested for something, that'll come out, and then you sue the cops, and everybody wins. But
yeah, the worst thing I ever saw was this guy resisting when I was working there. All I can do is basically describe it as the guy would not surrender. Yeah. And the cop basically walked up, like he stepped on the guy's ankles and walked up his body until he collapsed. He smashed his face on it. It was horrible to watch, but
that's what you get when you resist. Yeah. We pay these people to keep us safe. And if you're doing something wrong, they're going to restrain you. Yeah. You're not going to fight out and run. And even if you do, you're not going to make it very far. You're not going to get away. I don't know. I think that this society is attempting its best to tear itself apart by protecting criminals.
We coddle the young too much.
Oh my God. But we protect criminals, and we put our law enforcement under fire. And anytime these kind of situations come out, you know, where the police are being questioned, that puts criminals in a state of mind where they can run roughshod over the system, which means that the police are going to have to crack down harder to retain control. Mm-hmm. So if somebody gets shot and the police come under fire, then criminals think it's open fucking season, so they begin to riot, destroy property, and steal things. So the police have to come down harder to retain control. Which means that you're going to have more fucking reports of how awful the police are, and more people are going to get it in their head that they can do whatever the fuck they want, which means police are going to have to come down harder. Mm-hmm. That's why these things come in huge, long, drawn out spurts. Yeah. It's not like something happens and it's done and it's over. It's something happens, something worse happens, something more worse happens, something worse than that happens, and it goes on and on and on and on and on until finally everything kind of calms down. But it takes
more comments
years
from Sir Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
So I think he's got every right to say.
Yeah, everybody has a right to say anything they want to. Yeah. And if anybody wants to put credence in it, that's up to them. And if some guy wants to get on CNN and write an opinion piece about how he thinks Charles Barkley's a dummy, then fine. But don't sit there and expect that I'm going to take you seriously at all. Yeah. Because you can't cite something that a man who was a rich, teenager, essentially, 22, 23, whatever, and yeah, he did stupid fucking shit. And of all the people in the world that I would give credit to, is somebody who did stupid shit and turned their fucking life around. Yeah. I would give him far more credit than anybody else.
I agree.
But I'll get off my soapbox now. Time for the top 13.
Well, before the top 13, I would like to make a comment.
Aw, shit.
I always suggest things to Andy on YouTube to watch, and he usually 12 times out of 10 hates it.
Wow.
But I recommended this one guy on YouTube, and he actually thought he was funny.
Who's that?
Jacksepticeye, the Irish
Oh
guy.
yeah, Septiceye. Dude, he's hysterical.
It's fucking funny as hell.
I'll put a shout out for him. Watch his fucking videos.
I don't get PewDiePie at all. I watch his videos and I just don't think he's funny. He's like the most popular thing on YouTube. He's like #1 throughout every category. I don't think he's funny.
I don't know.
And I know that's probably upsetting his bro army, but I don't mean that as disrespect to the guy.
Everybody has their opinion.
I just don't get the guy.
Yeah.
But this Jacksepticeye.
Septiceye. Yeah.
It's funny as hell listening to an Irish guy get pissed off at video games.
He's hysterical. He was very.
And
very
I found
funny.
one video where he was drinking and playing video games. Amazing.
Brandon sent me a link to a YouTube video of a guy who was swallowing hot dogs whole.
What's he doing his off time?
Yeah, exactly. But he was swallowing one after another. He was swallowing hot dogs whole, and it was one of the funnier videos I think I've seen in a very long time.
Sorry.
So yeah, if you get a chance to look that one up, that was.
There's a lot of food reviewers on there. I've run into like a couple, like they review the most horrible foods you can find. I think it's called Reckless Eaters or something. I know one of their shows they drank a bunch of Four Locos with the alcohol in it and the caffeine still in it.
Yay! I like Four Locos.
I don't really watch those eating reviews because they usually end up puking on camera, and I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, he puked up like 3 whole hot dogs after he was done eating them. It was hysterical. Watching this dude fucking like the first time he did it, I was like, holy shit, he's actually doing it. And then the next couple, he couldn't really get down, and it was funny to watch him like he's just tossing the fucking things down his throat.
Were they projectiles when they came out?
Well, no, because then he'd go, and he'd have to reach all the way into his fucking mouth and pull the whole hot dog out. I don't know. It was very funny.
But then I watch this. I can't watch Reckless Eaters and stuff like that. But then I'll watch like the food competitions.
Yeah. All right. Top 13. Let's do this.
Do I usually play music for it? I don't remember.
I believe yes, you do.
Okay, then I got in honor of Sir Charles Barkley, I have something called Full Court Press.
Yeah.
And it's time for the top 13 because we're 3 times better than everyone else.
Yes, we are.
And the way we usually do this, I do have a mystery at the top 13, and Andy tries to guess what the hell I'm doing. Number 13, Goat Sec.
Goat Sec?
Sec. S-E-C.
Goat Sec.
Yes.
Your top 13 favorite satanic cults?
No. Number 12, Derp.
Derp. Your top 13 favorite Rob Schneider movies?
That's it. No.
Rob Schneider. Derp, 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 derp.
Number 11, I'm not really sure to pronounce this, but I'm going to go with it. It's UG. I'm guessing Ugg Nazis.
Ugg Nazis.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce that.
Your top 13 favorite female Nazi groups.
No, but I like that. Top.
Get it? Ugg boots.
Top 13 Nazis that wear Uggs.
All right. What's next?
Number 10, Chaos Computer Club.
Your top 13 nerdy Warhammer 40k groups.
Nerdy Nazi.
All right.
No. Number 9, Global Cos.
Global Cox?
Cos. K-O-S.
Global Cos. Your I got nothing for that one.
Number 8, the Level 7 crew.
The Level 7 crew. Your top 13 groups that refuse to play the actual Destiny game and only play the demo.
No, it's the top 13 Black Spiral Dancer Rippers. No. Number 7, Global Hell.
Global Hell. Your top 13 Circles of Hell.
Yes, that's it.
No.
Number 6, Team Poison.
Team Poison. Your top 13 suicide groups.
Oh. Number 6, the 414s. Or 414s. I don't know. I'm sure I'm pronouncing most of these wrong.
Your top 13. I don't know. I got nothing on that one.
Okay.
Area codes.
That was number 5. Number 4, Lutzsec.
Lutzsec?
Lulzsec.
Lutzsec.
Yeah.
Your top 13 things to say before you have sex.
No.
Lutzsec.
Number 3, Masters of Deception.
Masters of Deception. Your top 13 supervillain groups led by Mysterio.
No. I really thought you would have got this one out. Number 2, Milliworm.
Mealyworm. Is it your top 13 viruses?
No. Kind of close.
Computer viruses.
No. Kind of close.
Your
You're
top
right
13 things that you like to eat. Mealworms.
Once I see number 1, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
Number 1, Anonymous.
Your top 13 hacker groups.
Yes.
Yay!
This list was in honor of the Lizard Squad.
Who was not on the list, I noticed.
Well, they're brand new.
That's funny. Lutzsec?
I'm sure I pronounced them all wrong because they have these weird spellings and like
Oh yeah, it's all
letters,
in
letters.
leet speak, man. Leet speak. Yeah.
One of these groups is going to shut us down now.
3L3T3. Elite.
The one I left out, which I thought would have gave it away, was can't even read it now. Ah, fuck it. I scratched it out too well. Network crack program. Something.
Network crack program. Your top 13 butt crap programs.
There's your top 13 for the week.
All right. Well, I ain't got nothing else. I want to play Destiny.
Wasn't that? I enjoyed this episode. How about you?
I want to play Destiny.
I think everyone knows.
Are we done?
No, let's keep talking. Let's talk about Destiny.
It's a fun game. Signing off.